welcome to episode 2 of The Lookout. Your new favorite Dragon Ball podcast that you never knew you wanted, but it's here. And as you know, thanks to everyone who's listened to the first episode. It was a very cool episode, and we are back, and we have once again the man who is like cooler than all members of Brockhampton combined. The man Jeff, like he is literally here.
Oh man, I am here, man.
My compadre, my Dragon Ball like brother, like we talk about this shit all the time. We had a lengthy discussion just last episode about we started this in terms of this Tournament of Power series. It's going to be a few episodes. It's going to be a few episodes talking about just dissecting the Tournament of Power. And we talked about the Universe 17 and everybody who is on it and what they've contributed and how cool they are and how cool they may not be or something along the rather. But in this episode, we're going to break down the other universes, and we've got a couple to talk about. I mean, not every universe is noteworthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Please don't get me wrong. Not every universe is noteworthy. Not every universe is everything we talk about. And there are even some universes that, which is crazy, they're sitting on the sidelines, but they're not represented in the tournament.
Yeah, which is nuts.
So they kind of just have this like front row view to not only view other universes, but also watch other universes get destroyed, which is this kind of like masochistic. I don't know what is it.
It's very it's kind of disrespectful, actually.
It's super disrespectful. Universes in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. I mean, to this extent, I mean, we've known about other universes in an kind of. They brought it up before. The only real mention I remember that it's sort of bringing up before is, there's that Bardock movie, which I'm not sure if it's canon or not. It's supposedly, I don't know if it happened or didn't happen. The new one, not the old one, but the new one where he goes to a planet and the Legend of Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
There's also Goku after the Frieza thing. Just in a spaceship, hits some random coins, flies to another universe, learns instant transmission, and that's all that sort of the universe contributed to Dragon Ball Z, at least. But I guess our first glimpse into different universes is the introduction of Champa from Universe 6. We know Beerus is the god of destruction for Universe 7, and we don't even actually know we're Universe 7 until we're named Universe 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Until they put it out there.
So we find Champa, who's sort of the god of destruction for Universe 6. He's the brother of Beerus, the bitter brother who sees that Beerus has Earth, which has all these delicacies of food and shit like that. And in Universe 6, Earth is like this pile of dirt, and it's essentially it's destroyed itself, I guess. I don't know.
That's what I think they're playing to. Like, it's just
it's
a shitty Earth.
Scary realization. I'm just glad we're in Universe 7 because
Champa is also a bit overweight.
He's also a bit overweight. My man is not. I mean, he's for a universe that doesn't have as much delicacies, I guess, as Universe 7. My man is overweight, and he looks at least like 4 Beeruses.
Right. If you've seen Beerus eat, you got to respect Beerus a little bit more because this man's thinned out, he's in shape, and he's eating like food from our Earth.
Right. But in total, we learned that there are currently still 13 universes, and they're all twins universes that add up to 13. So Universe 1 and Universe 13 is a twin universe. Universe 2 and Universe 12, do they add up to? No, there's 12 universes. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's 12 that add up to 13. Right. They add up to 13. That makes way more sense. And Universe 6 and 7, they're the twin universes, which makes sense. I mean, Beerus and Champa are twins. They're similar characters, similar sort of motivations. We get our first taste of the different universe in this inter-universe tournament for the Super Dragon Balls. And we get a taste of Universe 7, which I guess we should briefly talk about now. or maybe we should just talk about the tournament. I don't know. I mean, we can get there in maybe a future sort of series of podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see Universe 7, and Universe 7 is possibly the universe with the most development that we've had. I mean, we've gone into the universe, we've seen the people, we've seen the fighters, we've had long-standing. There's a rivalry now with the fighters. Universe 6 has these they introduced these 5 fighters to the tournament, and I believe it's Hit. It's gosh, what's that Saiyan's name? Kaba. We see Frost, which is like Frieza.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a good Frieza.
I hate Frost.
Frost is terrible, man. Magetta.
What?
That's the giant fire robot guy.
Right.
And we have Botomo. Right,
yeah.
Botomo. And Hit, of course.
What was the 2 Hood Namekians introduced now?
No, they were not. I want to get to them. I dislike them.
I know. I remember you.
I dislike them so much, man. But we have this tournament. It's a battle. It goes pretty long. I mean, it goes pretty long. One of the Vegeta lasts pretty well in it. We learn about Kaba and that there's I guess a planet Vegeta. Or
a whole nother planet of Saiyans.
A whole nother planet of Saiyans that's alive and that survived, and that's, you know, Saiyan pride, and it intrigues Vegeta. And we get this relationship, this mentor to student relationship between Kaba and Vegeta, which is actually pretty cool.
And very important moments between those two, and discussions that those two have exactly that tells potentially what could happen in the future. So definitely 100%. Pay attention to them.
We have that battle. We introduce another insanely strong character, which is Hit. And Hit was as much of an enigma as probably anybody that was, you know, that was talked about at that point. He's somebody who doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
He's I guess his role, at least, what is he? He's a bounty hunter, or
he's an assassin, but
he's an assassin.
He's a bounty assassin. I mean, literally, you know, you pay him, you put a hit on somebody, and he handles.
Universe 7 had Manaka. Shout out to Manaka. Just a brief. I mean, I think that's all we need to talk about him. But he was featured in this tournament, and he was the one who actually won the tournament. I guess Hit through it, and you know, we get to it. Champa's angry. He's like, yo, I did not get the Super Dragon Balls. I can't get my wish. Not only that, I lost to my brother, who I hate. So he threatens to destroy him, and that's when Zeno shows up, and, you know, we learn about all these different universes and all these universe theories.
Right.
Our second trip into learning about different universes happens briefly, and Super is really good at adding these tiny drops of things in previous sagas that link to the next one.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, that's this. If you pay attention, that is what makes this series.
It's just this development, and it's there's like this, I don't know, there's a linchpin or just this thread. There's this thread between all these things, and nothing is like done without no reason. It's not kind of like Z, where it's just like, and a new bad guy enters the ring. Like, it's not that.
Yeah, they're going to tell you a lot about these people prior.
So we learn
about while they're fighting.
So we learn about this next universe, and this next universe is Universe 10, because it has Zamasu in it, and Zamasu is one of the main protagonists in the Future Trunks saga. And we learn that Zamasu originally kills what's his Universe 10 God of Destruction name?
The elephant guy?
No, whoa,
or the one, but
shoot. It's the yellow dude. It's what is his name? I'm trying to figure it out. Actually, let me just look it up.
The Kai?
Yeah, no. The Kai is the elephant guy, actually. Universe 10's God of Destruction. Oh, wait, is it the Kai?
No, Universe 10's God of Destruction is the elephant dude. I don't know his first name.
Okay.
The Kai is Zamasu's
Gawasu.
Yeah.
That's the Kai. Okay. And Rumshi is the god of destruction. And so he kills the Supreme Kai, Zamasu, and we'll probably talk about future Trunks Saga in a distant future.
Yeah, we definitely will.
How contrived and how confusing it can be at times. But he kills him, and that essentially kills the god of destruction, and we essentially get the entire future Trunks Saga from that. But we learned that, you know, Goku and Beerus travel to Universe 10 to warn him that, hey, listen, Zamasu's going to kill you, like deadass. And actually they have to go and, you know, handle the job themselves.
Right.
To keep this alive. And it might have been slow for Universe 10, but it also might have been.
It would have been.
It might have been slow for Universe 10 if, you know, if Gowasu was killed, because I think their universe would have been, you know, just immediately destroyed. But also, we were talking about this just before we got on. How cool would it have been if Zamasu was in this tournament?
Man, it would have been incredible. It would have been incredible if they could have got Black in it.
But it's but I don't know. Well, let's see. Zamasu is apparently like a former Kai.
I believe he would be able to fight.
Wait,
he is a god though. He is a god. I don't think he would be able to fight.
You said he was the North Kai, and he's the Supreme Kai's apprentice. And speaking of apprentices, we sort of have this. Well, maybe that's given too much. Maybe I spoke too far. Speaking of, that's I guess if I do a good segue, it's a segue into how we learn about the next universe. I mean, we see all these universes here for the inter-universe tournament between Universe 7 and Universe 9. We also see the brief glimpse of Toppo.
And who they kind of show off to, you know, oh, this person is probably going to be major at some point in time. He's a weird looking character. You don't really put a lot of energy into him, probably because of his design.
Right.
As a matter of fact, to quote J5, who is this nigga? You know what I'm saying? Because just look at him, you know, like Toppo's like, he's just a weird looking character. Like, so you really wouldn't care about him otherwise, but he's very important.
Beyond also Universe 9 getting completely washed in this tournament, we see the introduction of Toppo in the Universe 7, and he's one of the only warriors that's kind of just sitting there along with Universe 11, which is kind of weird, but it ends up being explained later, which is what we're talking about, this thread through Dragon Ball Super, which kind of, when you go back to the episode, you're like, oh, that's why he's there. But it's this thread necessarily, and we see him and he has this battle with Goku. He nearly breaks Goku's bones with his, I guess, his final maneuver, which is like this Justice Bear hug or whatever. All his moves start with Justice, by the way.
Yeah,
so
I hate his moveset.
But yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to introduce him into the next Fighters game.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially with what had happened, you know, recently with him. So I wouldn't be surprised. But he's a strange character. He's somebody that, like, if you don't like it, you're probably not going to like him. And then if you do, you're just going to like him. There's really no in between. I don't really, you know, he's just a weird character.
He's a weird character, man. But he's introduced in this tournament. He has this battle with Goku. Goku pretty much gets the upper hand. But at the end of this fight, he makes a note to say to Goku, I'm not even the strongest guy in my tournament. Like, there's another warrior that's super stronger than me, that even supersedes me, that even supersedes the power of a god of destruction.
And you know that turns Goku on.
It's like, yo, we got to add this tournament. Let me get these 10 people set up. Like, yo, can we go? Can we get out of here? What's the rules? Like, what are we doing? So that's that. But even in the sort of build up to all of this, we get little glimpses through other universes, and these little glimpses definitely play a role because they made sure to highlight a few universes who are definitely going to have a role in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We see universe. All the universes convene at some point to say, like, yo, we should all together just like kind of go to Zeno and say, hey, you should not destroy our universes. But they're also very afraid of him, that he might just destroy their universes on the spot.
Yeah, so the only one who's clearly not afraid of him is Goku. He just talks to him like a regular person.
So they were like, I don't got time for this shit. I got to assemble like 10 warriors.
Yeah.
I really don't have time for this. And we get, as we talked about, the plotting between universe, I believe it was universe 4 and universe 9, in terms of just saying like, yo, we got to get Goku out the paint. We got to get them out of here. Like, we're not.
They was hating.
We're not. My universe has already been beaten by Goku, and they're like some of the 3 strongest in our universe. So how are we expected to survive for that long?
Yeah, I mean, they had to make a power move. They had to try to plot against the boy.
And universe 4 is just like, I don't even like the cut of that nigga's jib. I don't like the way he dresses. I don't like the cut of his hair.
Like they were like, yo, they was like clowning him. Like,
yeah, I was like, I don't like this guy. Like, he's put our universes in danger. Like, we could have been chilling. We've been chilling for this long without him realizing he needed to kill us. So now that you all brought it up and started shaking your hands and waving your hands about it, now we got this sort of, now we risk extinction. So it's kind of like, it's crazy. We get brief glimpses of Universe 6, and Universe 6 in the fact of, planet, what is it? Planet Plant? Who is it? I don't know. Like,
since it's crazy that it is, that's what it's called. It's something that has to do with plant because of obviously Saiyan names are all off some kind of veggie.
It's he is from this. He's part of. Which planet is he from? I'm looking on Dragon Ball Wikia right now, which is like,
so Bible, man.
Yeah, if you've ever been a Dragon Ball fan, you've just been here for hours. Like, the planet is called Sadala. Planet Sadala is home to all the Saiyans. The Saiyans in this universe have not completely shitted the bed and got themselves destroyed by Frieza, which we learn, and something that you pointed out actually to me that I did not realize before, that Beerus sent Frieza to destroy the planet Vegeta.
Facts. It's a secret, a big secret,
major
Frieza
secret
holds on to. Beerus gave him the okay to do that,
and I think he's holding on to it for a reason.
Absolutely.
And because we know Frieza's the biggest dick bag in the world, and he's just holding on for the right moment to sort of spring it up.
Again, guys, this series is not over. It may be over in its own entity, but there will be something. I mean, there's so many gaps. Right.
Gosh, like, universe. So we have universe 6, and they go to Sadla, and we see he goes to, I guess, this fighter, and just like, hey, we need fighters, and you're one of the best fighters on Earth, and we need you to sort of, come and save us in this tournament. And I forgot what was the name. It was Mensur Renzo. But Renzo says that he's not able to fight, but there is someone who's stronger. Man. There is someone who is my apprentice, who is, a very strong fighter, and we meet Cauliflower. The first ever. It's not the first ever, but it's the most prominent Saiyan woman.
Yeah, the first time that they really let a Saiyan woman like take the lead,
right, and cook, and just a strong, bold, not sassy, but a very like strong, defiant, abrasive character.
My favorite character outside of our own universe 7. That's my favorite character of all the other universes.
And she also has her best friend that she calls her sister.
We still don't know too much about that and what that comes from, but shout out Kale.
We see Kale, who's just the opposite of Cauliflower, who's very tepid, very afraid, but has this overwhelming power. And we see this overwhelming power when Kaba teaches Cauliflower how to turn Super Saiyan, which has really been trivialized in this entire saga. Like, it's just like, get the feeling in your back.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, it was kind of strange when I first
and just push it out.
Oh. Yeah, just push it out. I'm like, oh, okay, so there's a way to do. I'm thinking to myself, where was this when I was 13, 14?
When we was basically
this is all I had to do.
Like, we were just screaming. And just like, all right, it's like, it's screaming, bro. Trust me. It's just, you just scream.
It's gonna happen. Yeah,
it's gonna happen. but it's just it's apparently this tingly feeling you get in your back, and then
you just release something. Yeah,
and
Kale is on some other shit.
Kale is what we're at least inferring, or what we're at least guessing, is that she's Universe 6's answer to Broly.
That's what it appears to be. I don't...
The legendary Super Saiyan?
Right. I'm so curious about these connections, and that's why I'm really glad that Kaba and Vegeta have those conversations about, oh, you need to see my planet sometimes, and Vegeta's just like so interested in this, you know, and it tells it's foreshadowing. We know this. I mean, it's clear. I don't think these are things that they would keep unanswered.
Man, so we see that she's a legendary Super Saiyan. It's this berserk power. And it's called the Berserker state. It isn't even called the legendary Super Saiyan. So it kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, they're trying to move away from.
They're trying to move away from Broly.
Yeah.
Because it's called the Berserker state, the kind of untamed, the real beast warrior sort of state. But
the hair is not. It's that Broly color hair. It's that greenish yellow.
It's the lack of pupils.
The lack of pupils.
It's
her maintain stage is pretty dope too, where she like controls it basically.
Right. And I mean, I don't think we've ever saw that. Did we ever see that with Broly? His maintain stage?
Yeah, there was. I think there was a moment where he was just like in a flat, not bulky stage.
Right. But we meet them and we learn, damn, they've got some power behind them as well. Who's going to be able to stop the legendary Super Saiyan? We get a glimpse to Universe 11, which is a very it's a very casual look at Universe 11, because it doesn't say they're not in the heat of battle or anything. They're just kind of going along their daily lives.
Yeah. The city looks awesome.
Amazing.
It looks really cool.
They're holding it down. There's this warrior troop of just the Justice League or whoever they are or whatever they are, of just really strong guys who protect the universe from evil. We see General, Kasuro saving a cat from a tree. We see, Toppo, he's out. He's having this very casual, just one drink. He's having a drink.
Big chilling.
We see what's his face at the time? You know what? This chart doesn't have his real name, and it's
I know they called my man's Beerus clone.
But what's his name?
Dispo. Despio, yeah.
Dispo is super fast, super strong.
Are you related to Beerus and Champa? Why do you look like them, buddy?
This is amazing.
It must just be a race.
It says, I think it's just a race. It's just a race.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's a god.
It's just a bunny race. Just the evil bunny race. But and then we also see a glimpse of Jiren. And
the man, apparently.
Jiren is, someone, he's not totally wrecked by it. He's not totally, and I forget the first few moments that we actually see him and what he says or anything, but he's, you can tell just from the aura, just from his stance, just from.
Yeah, I believe Goku kind of was felt back by it. Like when they walked in, he made a reaction or something. Like when they displayed him, he kind of was like, "Whoa, what is that?"
Merciless individual. He can be cold at times. I mean, let's see. We'll talk about the background because they eventually get to the background of Jiren much later on in the series, but which was. I can't wait. That's something you got to read the manga for when you get to that. Oh, they explain it in the manga?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when you get to the manga, I'm sure Jiren's backstory is going to be 10 times better.
But we see him there, and that's kind of we know he's super strong. We know that he's he doesn't really want to join the tournament, but they say you can use the Super Dragon Balls to grant anything that you want. But he agrees that he can participate in this, but if anything happens in Universe 11 while he's away, that he has to return to immediately help, which is something that they don't really
Yeah, they don't talk about that after again.
Yeah, because I guess the thrill and the lust of power and rage sort of overcomes, and just the entire weight of the situation.
Right? Didn't they end up telling? No. That was universe. One of the universes told their people. Was it two?
Oh, it was one of them where there was just like there was mass hysteria, and
Yeah.
People were looting and shooting and stealing and all this other stuff, trying to go to other universes. It was insane, but that's, I mean, they all touch down at around the same point. We see all the Kais, we see all the gods of destruction, we see all the angels. The angels are kind of a weird figure in this tournament.
Yeah,
they don't get erased.
The angels are absolutely the most mysterious, odd, eerie piece about all of this. About Super in general, I think. I think overall that there's definitely something else going on, and they are ahead of it.
They're 100%. Even, I mean, one of the strongest angels is, what is he? He's Lord Zeno's like chief, and
he's the one that I think is everybody should look out for when that time arrives to tell that story.
And his name is, I'm trying to figure out his name right now. He's Whis' father that we learn.
What are we talking about? Oh, you're talking about you talking about
shoot.
Man, what's my man's name?
His name, his father, the Great Priest is what they call him. They call him the Great Priest.
That's probably why we couldn't. The Great Priest. That's probably why we couldn't get it.
Right. So he's the one who sort of, he's an angel servant to Zeno. So that means he kind of holds all priority over them, because he is the guy who is the angel to, Zeno, who is the most important supreme being in all of universes, the Omni King, as we call him. But all the universes touch down, and let's kind of run through. I mean, we go through this tournament and we see what all the fighters have to offer. But let's go through this tournament, and we won't, obviously touch on everybody, because not everybody needs to be touched on. But, I mean, we can go through which universe would you like to touch on first?
Well, obviously one of my favorites is 6. 6, Universe 2 with the girls. Shouts to girls fighting for love.
Right.
And obviously 11. I mean, 6, 2, and 11 are very, very important.
Very prominent.
Yeah.
They're
And I think after that, definitely Universe 3, especially with that unique storyline with the machines. I thought that was pretty cool.
We get to, well, we'll quickly knock off a few universes. We see Universe 9, and they have, of course, the Dangerous Brothers, and they look like they're back, and they want vengeance for being defeated so handily.
For being trash. Trash. They want to be trashed again. Basil, Lavender, and Bergamo.
Yeah. We have Universe 10, which hasn't really been explored at all, actually. So everyone's kind of new. Everyone's kind of, different in their own way. Universe 4 is kind of the same thing. Universe, let's see. I mean, let's go to if we talk about the main universes, I definitely want to talk about Universe 2, because Universe 2 is a very, there was a method to their madness when they decided to design these girls of Universe 2, because they transform. I mean, there's these 3 beautiful girls who are just fighters, but they transform into these these other beings, and they do it in the most anime girl.
Yeah, it's very Sailor Moonish.
It's very Sailor Moonish, and I think they did it on purpose
absolutely did it on purpose.
It's like comic relief, but it's also satire on anime just in general.
Mm-hmm.
The cutesiness of it all, the fluffiness, the hearts, the pinkness, all of it. And then they transform into, and it's not like they transform into Sailor Moon, where
more beautiful women,
beautiful women. One becomes very chunky,
very backwards.
Very strong. One becomes this gets these powers of just like this primal sort of, primal sort of visage, and I forgot what the other two. She was the super fast one, I think, or something along
there was a
those
super
lines.
fast one in every one of these.
Yeah,
they got bored at some point and started like, all right, we're just gonna put one fast guy in every universe.
But I loved Universe 2 just because it was just like their comic relief, and
they were a threat.
Yeah, and they fought for love. Universe 2 also features Jimeze, who is the from the universe that taught Goku instant transmission.
Very, very great touch. Great touch doing that.
So it's kind of like, it's very cool. I'm like, oh my god, these guys are warriors. He's kind of like the protector of the women. Mm-hmm. They're obviously like the three cornerstones of the tournament. So they were just like, oh great, like we want to protect them. Universe 3 is a universe. I think the Supreme Kai is kind of like the nerdy Supreme Kai. Like, he got glasses. The God of Destruction is a robot. And they feature several.
They're tech guys.
Yeah, they're tech guys. They came from Universe 2 Apple, Universe 3 Apple, maybe Google.
Paparoni. Shouts to Paparoni.
Paparoni. He looks like one of the head honchos in this. We have 3 robots. Bororetta, Biara, and Panchia. I'm assuming. I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend.
Their names are terrible. Like, they really went all the way in with their names, but I'm gonna assume it's something robotic or machinery related. That's why it's so difficult.
They also play a role in the tournament. What's his face? One of my favorite guys.
Oh, the water looking guy?
No. Maji? Kato Pelsa.
What did it look? What do you look
the guy whose suit is like, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna use my speed.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, get out of my face, like right now.
I thought you were talking about Maji Koyo.
No, he was also interesting too, because he was
a cool ass character. I was like, man, they need to go ahead and run with that.
Yeah, they didn't explore it too much, without giving away too much. They didn't explore it too much. Like, he came up against a fighter which was far beyond his level, and
he got spanked. Yeah,
he got completely washed. Universe 4. I think Universe 4 is only notable for its God of Destruction, which looks like a very bitter, angry.
Yeah, he's a rat.
Yeah, he's just a bitter, angry guy. Which one do you want to discuss? Universe 6 or Universe 11? Because we got to get to one of these.
I mean, 11 is obviously the big one, mainly because of Jaren. But I mean, 6 is the one that is 50-50 to us. So.
Let's run through 6, because Universe 6 has a few characters we know. They have a few characters we just beginning to get introduced to, but they last a fairly long time in this tournament. Dr. Rhoda, another comic relief. It just, one of my favorite moments with him was just like, and I'm going to show you why they call me Dr. Rhoda, and then immediately gets blasted every time.
Yeah. Well, here's one of the reasons why I think 6 to me is important for us to discuss, because I think that universe is going to be highlighted again later.
100%.
And it's just because all the character development that they did. I mean, Hit seems to be somebody who's, to me, will be a consistent, character in Dragon Ball series history. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna go with him. And then, I'm sorry, but to me, Cleffa stole the show. I love the fusion. I think it was so cool, man.
So we'll definitely get to that in the future. But yes, there is a beautiful fusion that is like, it's just otherworldly, and it comes at the right time, and it provides a right base at that moment for things to happen. But it's amazing. Hit is probably the strongest guy on the team by far, just standalone.
Facts.
Hit, I'm hoping, doesn't become like another PyCon, which is like, they hint that he's strong, but we never really get to see him in action because he's dead. Mm-hmm. There's also
you know what? I'll drag on you a little bit for that, because I honestly think that Hit's gonna be. I really think he could be a big character, just in general, like a part of the series.
I want to say,
I think he'll get his love
if he gets another form in the future. if he managed to send,
remember,
I don't
he
know.
talks about always trying to get. He's one of those characters, so
Right.
I think it's doable. He's always like, I want to get
think
stronger.
I think he's he's Goku's sort of opposite in terms of how they do the universes. He's Goku's opposite and kind of
want to Goku's opposite.
Yeah, and sort of he's more inclusive. He's more reclusive than Goku. See, it's kind of just like the opposite.
I think cauliflower is his opposite. Ooh. I think I told you that. Like a few months ago. I really do. Battle. I really do, dog. I think, man, I can't wait. Hopefully they let us explore Universe 6. I think that would be so amazing.
Cauliflower and Kale, they're just amazing characters who have their moment in this. We see Vegeta and Botamo have their moment.
I hate those characters, man.
Those are filler characters. And then we have the two Nameks.
Here you go. Go ahead. You have the floor, Meelz.
I do not like their design. I do
handle
not
the
like
ghetto Namekians.
Yo, they're so not just ghetto, and shout out to the status for shitting pants. Like we're watching this, we're looking, and we'll probably link to it, but it's Purina and Sayonel, and they're just these two warriors who are they're just Nameks. They're not. There's nothing.
Just random Nameks.
There's Nameks who are just like they're warriors, and I guess they've been entrusted with the planet within them, and one of them has gloves, and I hate it so much. Just like the design of gloves on it just seems, from seeing Frieza and seeing the Nameks in our universe, is just like gloves just seem so.
Like, why did you put gloves on these Namekians?
Yeah, it's just like they don't need gloves, man. And then like they get their hands cut off, and then like their hands shoot back together, and then
they're a little darker.
And they put on another glove. Like, what the fuck? Like,
and they're a little darker, man. Like they got like a little.
They're the ghetto ones. They're the street ones.
They're the ghetto Namekians. They're
the crime time Namekians.
Oh man,
like,
oh man. I know you didn't like them. You had tweeted some things about them.
Oh man,
months ago. But yeah, dude.
You know what I don't like, and this is probably talking about I mean, if you've seen it, you've seen the tournament. They last so long. Will contribute nothing.
Yeah, they just don't show. They just barely show them.
They don't show up, and you're like, I know there's two Namekians left on this universe, and we have to get through them. But they last so long. They have this battle. The battle isn't as big as they probably wanted to make it seem, and Piccolo, when facing them, doesn't seem to be very affected by these two guys. Like, he doesn't feel any remorse. He doesn't feel any brotherhood. He doesn't feel anything, really. They're just kind of like opponents for him.
He
knew. Like,
he already knew.
You see Cabba, and then we have Frost. Frost is a
cheap.
In the first episode, we see this nice. I'll give him to this because they did it, and this is another example of fan service. They did this thing where they see Frost. And then there's Frieza, and then they're smiling, and then they're laughing, and then they're plotting, and it's just like this cool sort of. There's angles to it, the way they show it. There's like different, like sinister angles, but they're like playful, and they're just like, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, and it's like, of course, of course, and blah 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 blah, and you know, as we know, the union doesn't last very long
because Frieza is a dickhead.
Frieza's a dickhead, just supreme, but. It's just, you know, Frost has his moments, and then, you know, something very unfortunate happens to him, which we'll explore in greater detail, possibly later on.
Yeah.
And then we have Universe 11.
Universe 11.
Not a lot to talk about. Not a lot to shake a stick at, honestly.
No.
There's a number of fighters with very interesting powers. I do not quite know what the Frog guy's power is. He was pretty. I'm not even. I don't even mind to spoil it. He was dispatched pretty quickly.
Yeah. It didn't really matter, man. He was just a guy.
And the same as the dragon guy, the lizard. Tupper seems to be. I'm able to manipulate my weight, which is like, okay, I guess it's a power.
Yeah, I mean, that works in some cases, I guess.
Casserole seemed to be just like a leader. He's just someone who like you would trust on your team.
You can tell that they definitely you can just other universes you couldn't quite tell where they wanted the focus to be.
Yeah.
But when you get to Universe 11, you kind of know they're like, they really have 3 really good characters, and then the rest are like, okay, here's a girl, here's one that looks like a monster, here's one that it is not even here,
right?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And the rest of these Pride Troopers, we see Zoire, who is just like, I can do like these mini cyclones and fight people with that. There's Cocotte, or I'm not fully sure of her name, who's just like, I can trap you in different universes, and I can also trap myself in a different universe, and blah blah blah. It's like, it's a little Shadow Realm-esque, like.
Yeah.
But the 3 main ones, the 3 ones who last the longest are Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo. And Dispo has this, I think, a great battle with Hit in the future.
Yeah. Shouts Dispo. He also had a great battle with Frieza in the
great
future.
Exchange with Frieza. They're both of a similar vein of scumbags.
Yeah.
And that talk a lot of shit. They're known to talk a lot of shit. Dispo can do it because he's super fast. He's faster than fast. He's faster than light. He's faster than everything. So
another fast guy.
Yeah, the shit talking between them is just incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Toppo, we see Toppo. He has this role in Jiren, and Jiren is.
Jiren is.
What's your opinion on Jiren? Let's see your opinion on Jiren at first, and then your opinion on Jiren as the battle goes on.
Well, the hints that they were giving us about Jiren early on was, okay, clearly we kind of knew, okay, this guy he's the other person that is incredibly strong. But the way
we didn't know how strong,
the way that they show how strong this guy is, I mean, he is the most OP Dragon Ball character that I have ever seen.
No sign of a weakness. And I thought Boo was at first, because Boo was just like, you could destroy him, he comes back.
Right. Omega Shenron was kind of a dick, and he was kind of OP.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's GT. I don't really, whatever. Right. But like, Jiren is like totally, he has no weakness as of right now that we know of. Besides just, I guess we'll find out, but pure power or pure technique. He's the perfect protagonist in this situation.
He's a protagonist, but also an antagonist in a sense.
Yeah.
He's and everyone is, I guess, compared to Universe 7, just solely off of their opposing Universe 7 and Universe 7 are the main characters.
The universes are on the line, so.
But I think you really, over the series, you don't gain an appreciation for Jiren as it kind of goes by. Like, he's so OP. It's kind of just like everyone's the underdog. So you even cheer, you find yourself even cheering for Frieza against him. Just like Frieza, just get a good shot in or something along those lines.
It gets a bit, I guess he's so cool. Like, the things that he does are cool. So you don't necessarily get tired of it. It's just like, okay, wow, what's the climax of this? Like, who's beating this guy? Because he's all powerful.
What do you think is the future for Jiren at least at this point? Because he's so strong. Is he just another Dragon Ball villain who's just like, or just as the strongest guy who's just like, he's here as a hurdle, and the object of this entire saga is to get past the hurdle, kind of like what they did with Cell and what they did with Frieza and what they did with.
I just think
Vegeta.
I think Jiren is just for this. I really do, and I mainly say that is because one thing that I have noticed about Super is they're coming up with really, really dope characters or bad guys or villains or antagonists, protagonists. But when they really have the floor, once it's over, it's over. Like the Black thing, for example. Like, who wouldn't want Black to be a every episode character? Like, who wouldn't want that? Like, we got to see Super Saiyan Rose for a few episodes, and it was probably one of the best new experiences that I've seen from a transformation standpoint.
So cool.
And, I just think Jiren, he is literally supposed to be for this, that backstory that they gave him. Just the little stuff like that. I mean, I think this is his arc. This is his arc.
This is his arc. And I don't think it extends past that, because even though they gave him this little bit of a story, I don't really feel any sorry for him, because it kind of makes him seem, I mean, I guess
he's so strong. I mean, I can see if like,
would you want like a movie like what they did with the Future Trunks or what they did with Bardock, of just like the
like
construction,
a Universal 11
just like how Jiren came to be and how he met.
I don't know. I don't really find their whole thing that interesting. I find Jiren, like as far as like being, cops in their world, or patrolmen on their world, or whatever,
Pride troopers,
defenders on their troopers. I don't really find them that interesting, but Jiren is interesting in general. Right. But I wouldn't want to. I'm way more interested in Universe 6 when it comes to something like that. Like if they say, hey, yes, Dragon Ball Super's over, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take you guys and we're gonna do a series on Universe 6 next.
Maybe even the movie. Who knows?
Or maybe, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I could see that. I think there's too much missing. There's so many things that we've talked about, even, in the last episode and this episode, that are things, just plot holes that they left out, or character development holes that they put in and never filled up. So
Universe 11 is a force in this tournament. If you have not known yet or have not experienced it yet. But it's a generally amazing tournament. And I'm surprised at all these characters, just to be able to think of all these characters and introduce them at the same time.
This is the best tournament.
Yeah, and try to give everyone their time. To me, this is one of the best sagas. Period.
And I love Z. To all the listeners, I love Z, man. But if you're one of those guys that you came up, or ladies, y'all came up and y'all watched Dragon Ball Z, and sometimes it's hard to let go of nostalgia.
Yeah,
and that's just what it is. But listen, if that has stopped you from watching Super, you gotta understand, like, Super is really, really good.
Super's amazing. The Tournament of Power is amazing. And in the next episode of this podcast, we will get into the beginnings of this tournament and the initial battles and the sort of the turmoils that Universe 7 is going through, and the introduction of Jiren, and possibly even a new form that is introduced. But thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you, Jeff, for once again gracing it with your presence. And this will not be the last time you're on this.
Always.
And we'll do this so many more times after this, just because we can talk for hours on Dragon Ball.
Yeah, this is easy, man. This is fun.
Subscribe to all RNC Radio podcasts. Subscribe to RSPN, which you can listen to Jeff and my man MC Mark on it every week.
Don't forget the A Show.
Subscribe to the A Show. I mean, stay tuned to the A Show. Me and OG Johnny 5, Justin Davis, do a great job recapping wrestling of the week. Subscribe to the RNC Radio official podcast with Justin Davis and Josh Pease. Always just great gems dropped on that, great information. And subscribe to our playlist. We do a great job with all our playlists. Like, we're building something here, and I think it's very exciting. It's very cool. It's very fresh.
Absolutely. We're running it, not to, remain humble, but come see us, man.
Stay tuned, because we're going to come up with episode 3 in this Tournament of Power Universal Saga series of podcasts. Until then, this is The Lookout. If you would like to join the conversation and speaking on The Lookout, #LookoutRNC. It's an easy hashtag, or at me. Can they at you, Jeff? Do you want them to at you?
You can at me, man. If you're a lovely lady who enjoys Super, you can at me twice.
That's right. You can definitely at me at Meelz TV, MEELZ TV. Old News Boy on Twitter. So you can add us and just join in this discussion. It's a great podcast, man, and we're great to. I'm glad to finally do this.
It needed to be done, man. It was awesome.
Stay tuned for episode 3 of The Lookout. Peace out.